my, there's another one.
Another one after that.
Wow. Holy shit.
So this is Yatta from Duke4.net, and we're here just waiting to get on the shuttle to go to Duke Nukem's Titty City. Pretty excited. We still don't know where the event exactly is going to be, but we're getting on the shuttle now to go there, so we're psyched. I am now inside of the limo.
Okay.
I'm now inside of the limo, and we're headed to the Duke Nukem Titty City.
I'm like, I don't even know anybody's here.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
where
just
to
spending money.
Oh, man.
For Monday in Vegas.
I just want to hang out and be like, I would never do blow unless I could do it off the half of a hooker or a K-Watch extra. And the funny thing is,
Let's go.
So we're here, and we're gonna get in now. You're the guest of Duke4.net.
I gotta have a hug. Okay.
Look at the girls.
get the velvet.
What's up?
I just need to get the velvet.
Oh, gotcha. So I'm actually inside now, and we're just waiting for the event to get started. Randy's actually going to talk.
I'll say it again. Please keep on filming, keep on taking pictures, but please don't film off the screen. We have B-roll for you guys with lovely footage. But other than that, take pictures of all of the good stuff that we have around here. If you have any questions throughout the game, technical nature, issues with the controls, again crashes, whatever, we have quite a few people here dressed in lovely Titty City staff t-shirts. Those are all 2K, and they all know the game inside out and are more than happy to help. If you have any questions regarding game content, demo content, and so on, you know the USPR team, they're all here. Our agency is here, they're more than happy to help out in that regard. And speaking of those guys, you all have interviews, you're all scheduled, and you will be picked up and taken to the interview area by the US team and brought back. Don't worry, every single one of you has a screen for themselves. So if you leave, you will be returning back to your screen, and you will be able to continue to play after that. So with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce a man who needs no introduction, Randy Pitchford, president of Gearbox Games.
Hey, we're in. Yes, I know. I just fucking do. Nobody got a picture of that, right? Jesus. We're in Vegas. This is cool. Thanks for coming, guys. Man, some of you guys, I think some of you guys were at PAX and you got to play the bit of the game that we brought to PAX. This is a whole different ballgame here. This is a very honest look at Duke that you're about to have, and this is the first time ever that anyone outside of the team has been able to play on the console. And it's also the first time anyone outside the team has been able to play this much of the game. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. Look, guys, I know it's a wild time. It's hard to believe that we're this close to actually shipping Duke Nukem Forever. It's actually going to happen. I know it's one of those. I get chills thinking about it. It's like probably the biggest unresolved deep tension in the history of the entire game industry, right? Like, we've been jerked around so many times with this. I know that I actually got my start in the game industry when I moved out to Texas and I joined 3D Realms and I became part of the Duke Nukem 3D team in the mid-90s. And that was, Duke Nukem 3D was the first commercial product that I worked on as a professional game maker. And some of you guys know that I left 3D Realms in '97, and soon after started Gearbox Software. Started it with some of the folks that I met while working on Duke 3D, and since then, of course, we made a bunch of games, and we've been very fortunate. Very fortunate. From the earliest work we did by creating all of the expansions and console versions of Half-Life, to helping Microsoft and Bungie bring Halo to the PC and make sure that we can finally play on the internet with that game for the first time and create the software that allowed that to happen, to creating the Brothers in Arms series and to creating Borderlands, and a bunch of other stuff in between there. And we've been very fortunate so that we were in a spot when the bad news happened, and remember the story, right? It was May of 2009, and the story was 3D Realms was shutting its doors, laying off the team, stopping development, and it was over. The dream was dead. The story was Duke was dead. And you can't kill the Duke, man. So I just feel very fortunate that we happen to be in a spot with the success that we've had, and we've got the capability and the talent and the resources and the experience and the money where we could do something about this problem. Because I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to live in a world where there's no Duke, right? Can you imagine? That's the world we were facing in May of 2009. And so we did it. We jumped in, man. Sometimes I said, I bought Duke Nukem. I think it's probably a more fair thing to say that George and Scott sold it to me. And I feel really humbled that they trusted me with their brand. And gave it to me, sold the thing so that we can carry that torch and make sure it happened. And it's wild too, because these guys, right? I mean, these guys are willing to burn their own house down before letting it fall into the wrong hands or letting something bad happen to it. And so they trusted us. And so from that moment forward, my commitment has been to make sure that the game that we play, the game that finally comes out, I didn't just take the title and start over. Our goal was to follow through and fulfill the vision that 3D Realms had spent all that time. We need to play the game that we've all been waiting for. So you're going to spend some time with that today. And it's a very honest look at the game. You're going to start at the beginning. We're not jumping you around. We're not only showing you, what we think is the coolest stuff or whatever. We're just letting you start at the beginning, and you get about, depending on how quickly you play, about 90 minutes of playtime. And then there's a boss that some of you will reach, and if you defeat him, that's where we'll cut it off. But that's it. It's just a raw look at the game. And I want to tell you a little bit about. I want to set it up. Obviously, it's Duke Nukem Forever, but what's the setup? What's the situation here? Well, it's been years since Duke saved the world, and we're going to join him in this setting. He has, he's the most famous guy in the world. He saved our planet, right? So he's leveraged that fame to build more success. So he's also the wealthiest guy in his world. He wins at everything he does. He's the king. And he has a casino in Vegas called the Lady Killer Casino, and it's the largest casino in Vegas, the most opulent, amazing. And his house is actually the top floor of the Lady Killer Casino. And when we join Duke, he's there in his living room, in the penthouse suite of his casino, enjoying his empire, enjoying his fame. And it's been years since he saved the world. And after all these years, he's finally playing the video game that was supposed to come out, that was made about him saving the world. He's been waiting all this time. So he feels a lot like we do. Where, one of the first lines that you're going to feel in the game is, man, it's been 12, they ask him, is the game any good? And he says, yeah, it should be after 12 fucking years. Because that's how long he's been waiting to play too. So he's a lot like us. He's having that same experience that we're having. And it's in this moment where he's playing his own video game, enjoying the pleasures of his glory and his success. And while he's playing the game, he's being pleasured by two women at the same time. This is just the kind of guy Duke is. And it's in this moment, the aliens come back. And they they come back, and this is a problem Duke knows, of course, but the aliens try to trick mankind. They make a deal with the president, and their plot is, hey, we're coming in peace, it's cool this time, we don't have to fight about things anymore. And the president buys it and asks Duke to not get involved, to stand down. But Duke knows what's going on, and in fact the aliens have a plot, and their plan is to take our chicks. The aliens' plot is to take our chicks. You see, they're going to use them to breed an alien army with which to take over the world. And Duke just can't let this stand. So he's gonna get it, even if he has to save the world all by himself, he's gonna jump in there and he's gonna do what Duke must do. And so you're gonna play the game, and you're gonna become Duke Nukem, and you're gonna save the motherfucking world. And it's a wild experience. There's all kinds of crazy stuff you're gonna see. Now this just scratches the surface, but you're gonna get a deep, taste right now with the time you're gonna spend with us. Now I'm gonna be here, and I'll be talking with many of you later. Also, we have Steve Gibson from Gearbox, the VP of Gearbox, so he'll also be able to talk with some of you. And Melissa Miller, who's a producer on the 2K side, very, very close to the project. And she'll be able to talk with some of you guys, and we'll all be here and we'll spend some time. And of course, we're going to party together later, and that'll be a lot of fun. But before I let you go, I wanted to touch a couple of things. First of all, when you start the game, you're going to have some choices about difficulty level. And we're all awesome gamers. I know some of you might be tempted to pick the harder difficulties, and you're welcome to. It can be quite punishing. I recommend you pick one of the easier skill levels so you can enjoy the content and just kind of consume it. And there is still some balancing to be done there. But you're welcome to choose whatever you want, and that choice is there for you. Another thing, the game it's not done yet. We're close, but it's still not done. There's still a little bit of work to do. In fact, there's about somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 tasks and issues in our database back home, so we need to knock those out. And by the time we get to final certification, our training will have done about 6,000 tasks. So on top of the 3,000 to 4,000 we already know about, there's still a couple of thousand things that we don't know about that we'll also be dealing with, and that'll put us in our certification path. So what that means is you might notice some things. There's probably going to be a couple points where you'll find some hitching that we're dealing with. You might, God forbid, a few of you will probably experience a crash. So I'm going to apologize in advance for that. There's a couple of places where we know you can break the game. There's still some tuning being done with some of the shading in the game, and so you might notice some little anomalies there, some things that you're not quite sure look right. It's okay, and if you want to bring them up to me, you're welcome to, or to any of us, you're welcome to. But I just wanted to warn you in advance. There's a few things there. Still, I'm very proud of it. It's a great, entertaining experience, and you'll see. I'm not trying to make excuses for the game. The other thing is, when you're playing, feel free to explore. There's so much to play around with. Sometimes you see something, hey, I wonder if I can play with that, and you can, and it does what you expect. Other times, I wonder if I can play with that, and it does something you don't expect, and it's surprising and fun. Explore, play around with it, have fun with it. There's all kinds of things, and we have lots of people play, and most of the time, people don't discover everything. So there's all kinds of stuff that you'll even miss, even if you try. And just have a good time. Have a good time. That's what we're here for. So I hope you enjoy this time, and thank you for coming. And I look forward to talking with all of you. And I've talked enough. I'll see you guys later. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and get it going. Cool? Thanks.